What if I told you that your dream life is actually a lot closer than you think? Most people never reach their dream life, not because it's impossible, but because they never break it down into something they can actually do. Today, I'll show you how to reverse engineer your future and turn it into a step-by-step roadmap you can start on today. So, when we talk about dream future, what does that actually mean? It's in the future, sure, but what does that dream actually stand for? And no, I'm not talking about those dreams you have while you sleep. I mean the big bold visions, like running your own business or finishing a marathon someday. Now, why is it that for most people these dreams remain exactly that? Dreams. To answer that, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what the difference between a dream and a goal is? Well, it turns out, in most cases, a dream really is just a goal without a project. And without a project, nothing changes. Imagine this. You look back and realize years went by and nothing's changed. You were busy, sure, but not on the things that mattered. That's the real danger. Not failing, but drifting. But the good news, you don't have to drift. You just need a roadmap. And all it takes is 3 simple steps. First, we'll define your ideal end state, so we know exactly what we're aiming for. Then we'll map the gaps to understand where we are right now compared to the future that we want. And finally, we'll reverse engineer a step-by-step roadmap from that future back to today. And by the end of the video, you will have a mini blueprint to start turning your dreams into reality. And now, let's get started. What I'm about to show you might sound a little daunting at first. So before we dive in, I want to share a quick story from one of my clients. When I first introduced it to him, let's call him Peter, he was skeptical and even a little afraid that this would actually make him feel worse. But once he mapped out his ideal end state, something clicked. He realized he wasn't as far away from the future as he thought. In fact, many of the things he considered dreams were actually well within reach. And this isn't even unusual. Most of my clients walk away with a very similar realization. So, if you're feeling even a little bit hesitant, I promise you it will be just fine. Alright, so let's get started. The idea is simple. You write down everything that matters to your future self in as much detail as possible. Think about things like where you live, who you live with, what you do for work, or what your hobbies are. You can go as far as how often you exercise, what you eat, what car you drive, or even how much money you make. To give you an example, in my own ideal end state, I'm a published author writing fantasy novels for young adults. And I spend at least 1 day per week doing only that. And really take your time with it. The more detailed, the better. You can pause this video here, write it all down, and then come back once you're done. And feel free to redo this exercise every now and then. Your vision will evolve, and that's totally normal. Alright, so now that you've written down your ideal end state, it's time to take a closer look at where you stand right now. This step is simple, but incredibly powerful. We're going to map the gap between your current life and the future you just described. Think of it like a quick self-check. Look at each part of your ideal end state and ask yourself, how close am I already and where's the biggest difference? Some areas might surprise you. For example, you might already be there like 80% when it comes to things like relationship or your living situation, but feel a huge gap when it comes to things like purpose, energy, or focus. And there's no right or wrong here. This isn't about judging yourself, it's about getting clarity. And once you know where the gaps are, you can start building momentum. Because clarity gives direction, and direction builds confidence. Now, take 5 to 10 minutes to do this little scan. If you want to, you can write it down, or you can just highlight some areas that feel especially off, and maybe some that feel pretty close. And that's it. This gives us a great starting point. And in the next step, we'll turn those insights into a practical step-by-step plan. By the way, if you like this exercise, I share something like this every month in my free newsletter. It's where I go deeper on tools like this one and how to apply them week by week. Okay, now that you've mapped out the gaps, it's finally time to build your roadmap. First of all, pick one area from your ideal end state. It doesn't matter whether it's a big or a small gap, just choose the one that feels most important for you right now. Why only one? Because if you try to focus on everything at once, your energy gets diluted. And when everything is important, nothing really moves. So, pick your focus. And now comes the fun part. We'll walk the path backwards. Start at the finish line. Imagine you've already achieved your goal. Your future self is living it. Let's say, in my case, I'm a published author. What would have happened exactly before that? Well, obviously, I had to publish a book. And before that, I probably reached out to publishers and agencies and whatnot. And before that, I probably got some feedback in, maybe through an editorial report or something. And before that, I probably did several rounds of edits on my first draft myself. Which means even earlier, I was writing that first draft. And even before that, I was just playing with story ideas or writing early scenes to get into the mood. Now, I think you get the idea. You work your way backwards, step by step, until you arrive at where you are today. And here's the beautiful part. The very last step now becomes your first step. And it's usually smaller and easier than you think. By walking the path backwards, you reduce the complexity and effort of this big, unreachable goal to a single first step that's easy to start right now. After all, if you want to run a marathon, you don't start by running a marathon, right? You start by putting on your shoes and going for your very first run. This exercise gives you a step-by-step plan that feels natural because you've built it from the future down. Now, will your roadmap change along the way? Absolutely, sure. There's rarely just one perfect path, and that's completely okay. The goal here isn't to predict the future, the goal is just to get started. And once you're in motion, you can always adjust and refine. You can redo this exercise as often as you want and find a new perfect path for you to go forward. And now, go ahead, pick your area, walk it backwards, and map out your future path. Build it one step at a time. And that's all it takes to get started. Clarity on the destination by defining your ideal end state, awareness of where you stand by mapping the gap between today and your future self, and a practical path to move forward using reverse engineering. Now, if this still feels like a lot, that's completely okay. After all, this is deep work. You're thinking about the big picture, and it's normal if it takes a while to click. What matters most is this. You're not just dreaming anymore, you're doing the work. And if you like some extra support with this, whether it's accountability, structure, or just someone to walk you through step by step, you can check out the office on my website or reach out for a one-on-one coaching session. Sometimes a little guidance is all it takes to go from stuck to unstoppable. Because wherever you are on the journey, you're not alone. Keep showing up, even one small step at a time, and you'll be surprised by how far you can go. And if you want to turn your roadmap into something you actually stick to each week, check out this video where I show you how I plan my week in just 15 minutes. Super practical and easy to follow. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.